woodchucks any day. Pain in the ass. Alright, I'm doing this, taking out the screws one by one and putting in quarter-inch galvanized wherever I can. Okay, what we're going to do is they got two screws coming through here, and the screws coming through here and here, so we're going to, you can see the points here, so I'm going to put the carriage bolts in here, and after that we'll be all set. What I did is I made a template from the old door, and what we're going to do here is the templates they give you with the lock, which is pretty old and it's been long since thrown away. So what we do just draw this out. We draw this out and we get the center, which is on the line, so it won't be, the cardboard, it just tells me where how far back I gotta go. This mark here, just where the deadbolt is going in, that clears this nail right here, and there's no other nails here, and on the back side there's no other nails. So the center of this will be determined by this line that I made here, not necessarily this circle, because it's in the cardboard and tells me how far back to go. So what I'm going to verify that with a ruler, and then I'll get the center, the exact mark. Okay, from this edge of the door here, we don't count this part, from the edge of the door to here is 2 3/4 inch back set. So we got a mark in here, we got a cross in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill this hole with this. So we're just making very sure that we are exactly. So what I'm going to do is take my black magic marker so I don't miss the point here, and put a black mark in the middle here, and then I'll drill from there. Okay, gotta go the right way here. Alright, this has got to be perfect. If I got this off at all, I got a little pilot hole in here. I'm going to make sure that I don't get off now on an angle. Alright, we'll give it a break here, get the sawdust out. You got to clean the teeth off of these hole saws, because otherwise they get clogged up. We go very slow, because if you push too hard, when we go to the other side, you're going to have wood splintered all over the place. So what we do is we drill this until the point of this drill starts poking through, and then we turn it around and we come this way. So these marks that I put on here from previous jobs I've done tells me how far I can go in before I can reverse the drill and put it on the other side. So we get it back into the hole again. Got that. Here. Alright, we're at the halfway. We're going to reverse this to make it easier to get out. Alright, we're at the halfway point when we hit this. It's about 3/4. So we're going to open the door now We'll see if we got this thing gone all the way through. If not, we're going to take a regular drill and hit the middle pilot so that we can catch it on here. Alright, what we're going to do here is we're going to drill this hole right through to the other side. Alright, if you look over here, we've got a hole here, and this is going to allow us to take this drill and go through this way. Okay. Alright, we're in the pilot now. We got to clean this out. Okay. Come back in again. Don't help them. You got poor eyesight, I'll tell you. This is one powerful drill. Take it right out of your... Take that damn thing right out of your hands here. Alright, we're going to come through on this side again. Makes it a little easier. We're in the door jam here, so we don't have a... Alright. Okay. If you can take a look here, we came through both sides, and you look on the other side here, and we got a nice clean hole. This is the center of the hole, right here, where this little line is. So what I'm going to do is to draw the line out to here. And then I take my square and I go ahead here. Alright, at this point here is where I'm going to drill the center hole for the deadbolt to go through. I've got the hole saw for that. Before we start it, we're going to make sure that we're in the center here. Now this is 1.5 inch stock, so we're 1, 2, we want to go 3/4 of an inch. Alright, that's 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to verify that with a 3/4 inch piece of stock, just to make sure that I didn't misread the ruler, because my eyesight is not very good, I'll tell you right now. Alright, this is the center, but I'm going to double check. This is a 3/4 inch piece of wood. We flush it out, and as you can see, we're right on the mark. Now, I do the same on this side. She's flushed out, and that's the mark. So that tells me I read the ruler correctly with my bad eyesight. I always double check my work. Measure 2 times, cut once. In my case, I measure 3 times, cut once. As careful as I am with this, I have screwed these things up so many times. By the time you get the mortar set in here and you get the thing set back in there, it's usually off, you know. Well, let's hope not. Alright, here we go. This is the hardest part of doing the whole thing, trying to get this perfectly straight and in the hole. Coming through the other side. Alright, let's see what we got. Not coming through yet. We're going to pull it out. Get some of the sawdust off. Okay, this is the deadbolt from the other lock I took off that inside door there. Alright, we have to mortise this out yet. But this is where she's going to be. Alright, so what I got to do is to cut this, chisel this out, and get this to center in there. And hopefully she'll line up, because this is the center, and we're in the center here. See my finger? Okay. We're going to do the chiseling. I'm not going to take a lot of video time to show you. We've got to mortise this out. In other words, clean this section out. We just very gently tap it. I don't do too good with these things, and I'll tell you why. Because when I do these edges over here, I always end up breaking these edges off, because the wood really, it's 1.5 inches. That's the standard door thickness. But when I go to chisel this out, most of the time, I end up chiseling this whole thing right out here, and that don't look good. And it's not intentional. I say, I'm no carpenter. I've said that so many times. And I'll admit, I do the best I can with what talents I know. And I share them with you all. And that's why I do these projects. You know, I can just as easily do them and not put them on video, but I figured it helps somebody out. Alright, now, very briefly, now when you use a chisel like this, you take this tapered part, you go in this way. If you go this way, you're going to take big chunks out. This gives you better control, you put it this way. And I tap very gently with the side of the hammer. There's two reasons for that. One, I might miss when I'm looking here. Second of all, if I miss, I hit my hand with the hammer. Now you see, I'm very gently, the chisel is sharp, very gently, and you can almost push the chisel, but I have better control if I do a little taps. So we'll continue on this off camera and get this started, and then we're going to drill in for this after we get this assembly in here. Okay. This chiseling takes a very, very long time to get it the way it's supposed to be. With my poor eyesight, I can't see very good, and you got to be very careful. A lot of times, you got a good sharp chisel, you really don't need a hammer on it. When you get down into these areas here, you're kind of like more of a scraping than anything else. Well, I managed to be able to save most of the edge here. Got a little bit more off of here, but there's no way, without a machine to do this, you ain't going to get much better than this. Now, you notice she's pretty well flushed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill the holes and put the screws in and mount this in, put the lock in, and see if she fits in there properly. All right, we'll just temporarily snug this in place here. We're not going to over tighten it. I don't think I have to take this out. Look at that. Alright, now, here's what we're going to do. This hole ain't deep enough in here I was going to put a nail in here and use it to hold the nail, you know, in and let it stick and find my centering point. We're going to do it another way here. The old goat way. I put my beautiful glasses on here. Alright, we're taking some redwood paint, latex paint. We paint the head of the deadbolt. Retract it. Go over here. Hold the door. You do it a couple times here. The head of the deadbolt. This is where I'm going to be drilling the hole. Okay. Go ahead. Alright, we're going to drill this. I got my beautiful glasses on here. This is why I want to make very sure. The nail is over here, and hopefully there's no nails hidden behind here. But I look on the back side there, doesn't seem to be any points coming through, so We don't want to screw up our bit here, our hole saw. Alright, we'll reverse that. We're about a quarter inch away from this hole, 1/8 inch to a quarter inch away from this hole. Let's see how deep we are here. Oh yeah, that's deep enough for, we got to knock that out of there. That's deep enough for a deadbolt, in case I get a longer deadbolt. And if I get a longer one, if I need to go deeper in here, not a problem. Okay. Now, I could probably get these at Home Depot, but they've gone up enormously in price like everything else. There's nothing wrong with this. It's got redwood stain on it. What the hell's the difference? We're going to mount it right here. The surface mounted, not going to be chiseled in because the door has got about a quarter inch of space between the door and the jamb. We just got to establish where we want to come, how far in or how far out we want to come, because we don't want to have the deadbolt hit either here or here and not go in. Sometimes these doors get out of line a little bit and these have to be readjusted. We try to keep this centered if we can. Got the striker plate on. I didn't have galvanized here, but I put 2 longer screws in here. These are 1.5 inches here. And these are much longer. So we're going to try out the door now. Now I got this so that there is a little bit of play in here when you close the door. Because what happens, wood swells up after a while, and then you have to start redoing this again. This way, it's away from the damn bees around here. It's away from the thing by about maybe 1/16 of an inch. So let's try it out. Okay. All right. She's locked. There's a little bit of play in here. I'm not going to worry about it, because if I bring this plate too far in, wood swells, and what's going to happen eventually is I'm going to have to remove this plate and relocate it, and a real pain in the ass. Sometimes you have to file it, and you'll lose metal on the striker plate. You don't want to do that. Worst case scenario, I can always put a little weather stripping in here just to keep the door tight. It's not a house. We're not worried about keeping drafts out or anything. It's a shed. That's all it is. As a matter of fact, speaking of drafts, we're not going to put anything here because we're losing our height. But we just have it here. So we'll paint this later on. Okay. All right. I'm just going to be putting a first coat on here. It rained last night. You know, on the East Coast, you have to paint between raindrops. There's no such thing as getting 1 week of dry weather. Not unless it's in the winter time, when it's too damn cold to paint. So we paint between raindrops. When it's not raining, we paint. Now this door is under an overhang, so no water affected it. Although down at the bottom we got a little splashing, but it's all dry now. And we're putting 1 coat of paint on it. Only 1. Now because this door, I needed to get those hinges and get this thing hung quick, I really should have painted this door first before putting these hinges on, but it's done. I did that yesterday. Today is a different day here. So we're just going to paint this, and we got a handle we're going to put on here. But before we put the handle on, I want to have this whole door painted. That's why I painted around here. This white is from trying to paint the trim on the when this was on the inside door. Anyways, when we get all this painted, then I'm probably going to have I'm not sure if I'm going to put a trim on this similar to the way the inside door was with the crisscrosses. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to do that or not. But anyways, we paint this. We'll get back on this video after I'm all done painting. Okay. I did a little more work on this, and some things I had to make some changes. First of all, as you can see, I've got the threshold in. This is a 1-inch piece of pressure treated. I needed a little more than 3/4 of an inch, and I didn't want to use any plywood underneath. So I took my power planer and I planed this down, and I beveled the two edges over here, and I've got now about 1/8 of an inch clearance between the bottom of the door and the top of the threshold. In addition, I had to add a piece here because there was an awful big gap here. As you can see, this door is open right up to the flower box. It hits the flower box outside on the shed. You can see that it sticks out a little bit anyways, so what the hell, I put this in there. And I'll draw the door closed. And now she's nice and tight. I got very little light here. I got a 40-watt bulb in here. And what I had also done is, if you see it, I've caulked in between the 2x6s because I'm going to paint this redwood on the inside anyways. And I installed a handle on the inside so I can pull this door shut because there is no doorknob. You can see where I was originally going to put the hinges on the outside. Oops, I just touched my caulking here. Anyways, but on the outside you won't really notice that caulking. No, on the outside you won't notice it at all. I did not want to caulk outside. It's only the inside to keep, well, to really keep the cold air out, but I just didn't want all these big gaps showing. This was the worst right here. Of course, naturally, if it ever dries out, I want to put some more caulking in here because it went deep inside. So I want to put another layer of caulk in here and do another full painting. But it rains every damn day, you know. It's ridiculous. Inside, I added another row of shelves because I'm no longer worried about having a door and getting my body in the way of the doorknob like I discussed earlier in the video. So because I took the door off and I put a piece of plywood here to finish it off, so I figured I'd make some shelves. But over here, of course, this is going to be open because I need this space here to get my body in here to start the snowblower. So I still got a mess to do here, to straighten out, I should say. I've already made the mess. I did the mess. I got to clean it up, straighten it out, and bringing stuff from the other shed into here and putting them on the shelves. Everything related to cars and auto stuff and oils and things like that will all be kept out here. Okay, that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day now.